States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to rearrange the agenda here. I'm going to move up engineering, to leave early, so we're moving up after the approvals here before public comment. And then after our engineer, we'll go into the environmental advisory council presentation, and then we'll go into public comment. All right, with those changes, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 5th, 26th reorganization meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 5th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 8th, 2026 regular meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 8th regular meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Everyone to Norm?
Okay, so under the agenda for engineering and zoning installation, first, Maidencreek Crossing, final plan approval. Quite honestly, we're still gathering information, kind of going through records, our understanding with some brief conversations we had with Diane as the water test is in process.
We just finished this past week.
Okay, so we are still waiting for some information on that, but looking at the agenda, it looks as though there's an extension of time that's being offered until May 15th for that.
Do I have a motion to offer the extension for 5/15/2026?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Oops.
We need to do public comments here.
Public
comments only.
Okay.
Any public comments on this motion? No. Oh, because we moved out.
Yeah, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda, Cornerstone Drive Bridge update / action. There's a couple bulleted items, and thank you, Diane, for putting those on the agenda. But similarly to Maidencreek Crossing, we're really trying to sift through all the information that has been provided and trying to get the township updated as far as what we're aware of, what we know that may be outstanding, and might need some additional direction on. But it is our understanding that the easements, Diane did provide us copies of those, so they are in place. That's good information. And my understanding, I think it was even earlier this week, that the authority had gotten their GP, the general permit, for the work that they're planning on doing. So we're going to look into finding out some more information about that as well. And then also that the UGI has in fact moved their gas line, so that should allow for the existing line that's currently running under to be abandoned in place. And then lastly, that Med-Ed had informed us, I believe it was middle or end of last week, that they are planning on de-energizing the first part of their line relocation is scheduled for March 3rd. So right now, we're trying to get a timeline together because there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces to this project, and we will be able to provide the township much more information at the next meeting. Okay.
You guys have any questions for engineer? All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Until I have to go to this place, I can absorb as much input as possible.
Sounds good. All righty, let's go into the environmental advisory council presentation.
Okay,
Welcome.
thank you for having us. We're gonna move this over here, so that we can kind of hopefully face everybody. Alright.
Gotta see over here.
Okay, so, my name is Deanne Weber. I am the owner and operator of Willow Run Farmstead, located on Hope Road. And I am also a member of the Maidencreek Watershed Association.
And I am Connie Camerano. I am a retired school counselor. I worked in the Fleetwood Area School District. I am also part of the Maidencreek Watershed Association. I'm a Berks Nature Ambassador and a Pennsylvania Master Naturalist, and soon be becoming a master watershed steward.
So, we're here today to talk to you about introducing a Maidencreek Township Environmental Advisory Council. Connie and I have been doing a lot of research. We've been meeting with individuals in the community as well as individuals in other EACs and other townships. And we would like to share with you today how we feel an EAC would be an asset to the Maidencreek Township. So, next, there we go. All right. So, how an environmental or EAC advisory council could help our municipality. So basically, an EAC helps the Board of Supervisors make environmentally informed decisions, support sustainability and reduce risk in the community, encourage community involvement and education, and also assist with state or federal regulations. It also provides a better quality of life for all of its residents. Okay, how is an EAC structured? So basically what it is 3 to 7 township resident volunteers that are appointed by you, the board. They serve a 3-year term, however, for the first period, it's a rolling basis. So some would serve 1-year term, 2-year terms, 3-year terms until it gets established. It can have associate members who are not appointed, but that would be a pool of volunteers that then the EAC could pool on in the future for future appointees. So it's a way to kind of keep involvement in the council. It meets monthly, and ideally it would collaborate with other municipality groups such as Park and Rec, zoning board, planning commission, all those types of things. So we have 6 individuals in our community who are interested in serving on an EAC. We have a diverse amount of experience and background that we bring to the table. This experience includes grant writing and implementation, research, architecture design, volunteer coordination, and teaching and education. But most importantly, we are all Maidencreek Township residents who care about our community and want to serve in this capacity to improve our township for everyone. Our township is pretty great though already.
Yeah.
Just saying. You're right.
So I'm gonna share some things that an EAC could do, and this is not an exhaustive list. There's lots of different possibilities. But anything that we would do would be to serve the purpose of enhancing what the township already does, trying to make your jobs easier, and also improving the lives of our community, as well as making a positive impact on the environment.
It's the other.
There's another picture there, but anyway. So one thing we could do is provide community workshops throughout the year to the township. This would be a way to provide in-person education. This could be geared toward children, it could be geared toward adults and families. The idea of this would be to help develop a culture of environmental stewardship throughout the community. An example of something we might do with kids could be exploring one of our creeks at one of our parks, looking for macroinvertebrates and identifying them, and then talking about the connection between having a clean stream and what we find living in the stream. For adults, we might do a workshop on how to add native plants and trees to your yard to have a better impact on the climate. So in addition to the in-person education, we can help with the MS4 public education and outreach program, and do information or provide information through social media and also through newsletters. We know that we already have newsletters in place that provide a lot of really good information about what we can do for our environment. So we could help out by actually providing that information, just to add a little bit more. And we could also do some posts on social media on maybe a weekly basis with tips, that are really useful to the community, that can be good for the environment, and also maybe you can save some money. love to partner with all the different parts of the municipality, and one example would be to partner with Parks and Rec. They do a lot of good things for our parks, and we would just want to kind of compliment them by assisting in what they do. We know that there's a community park management plan from Berks Nature, and that would be something that we could help put in place and implement. We could make sure that there's continued maintenance of the trees that have been planted, which is, one of the really great things about our township is how we've been planting so many different trees, but they do have to be taken care of so that they'll stay in place. And our watershed association does that, but we could have a little bit maybe more formal connection to make sure that keeps happening. And then another idea would be to make sure we're kind of practicing what we preach. We put out all this information in our newsletter, and a way to kind of show people what they can do in their own yards is do it in our parks. And we've been doing that with the trees, and we could keep doing that with adding native plants and riparian buffer and all kinds of different things. Something else that we would like to help with, and this is probably not the most fun part of anyone's job or any committee, but applying for grants. We know that there's a lot out there, but they're also very time consuming. But that would be something that an EAC could help with. We could research grants that are out there that would meet our needs. We could help do the paperwork and work with the township manager to complete those applications and get some money to pay for some of the things that we'd like to do.
I'm actually a nerd. I love doing grants.
Another thing that we would bring to the table would be connecting the township to partners that are in the community. These are organizations that we already have some connections with, so the Watershed Association, Scouts. One of the potential members of our group is a Scout leader, so we've got connections there. The picture on the bottom is Scouts that came to Andrew Mayer and helped out with our pollinator garden, so they're always looking for projects to do. We could be putting them to use with things that we would do in the township. And then there's some other places that we would have connections to. We could have use people as resources, bring them in to do different workshops. We can maybe also even get funding for some of our local businesses.
Okay, so we can also help with researching zoning and development. This could include reviewing development proposals that are new in the community to see what the environmental impact can be. Also recommend best practices for stormwater management. I know that that's a big issue in our community as we have dealt with flooding in the past, so looking at creative ways to manage stormwater in the future. And then also look at ways to recommend ways to improve our community, to encourage outdoor recreation. So walking, biking, those kinds of things. How can we get our people outdoor in our parks in a safe way and make that happen? And then promote farmland preservation. So this map actually shows what farms in Maidencreek Township are already preserved. Preserving farmland, agriculture has been a kind of bedrock of our community for a very long time. And preserving farmland is near and dear to, I think, a lot of people in our community because it helps to maintain our local food system and can also engage our farmers into our local community even more, whether that means helping them to preserve their farm or put in conservation practices that help the community at large. That could be an education component for our farmers. That can look a whole bunch of different ways. But I have connections there.
So this is one of our first, I think, really cool ideas and something simple that we could do. Our Parks and Rec have already come up with their schedule for the Food Truck Fridays, and I know they were really popular when they started in the fall, and they're coming back again in the spring. So we thought something that our EAC could do would be to have a table, a kind of an educational table where we might explore a different topic every Friday, or every Food Truck Friday. And this would be a way for us to get, those in-person workshops started, get people in the community used to us, and provide some information. So we could be providing those workshops or those tables with people from the EAC or even from outside organizations. If Nature would love to come and do something, so that would be something that we could pull from. Some sample topics, what is a watershed? That's something that we talk about a lot, it's in our newsletter, and it's something that we all care about, but I really only understood it myself a few years ago, so it is something that people need to be educated about. I think once people know what they're protecting, they tend to want to do it a little bit more. Another topic might be improving your home's energy efficiency, again, something good for the environment, but also good for our pockets. And another idea would be how to create a mosquito bucket of doom. So what are the next steps? So of course, we want you to say yes. We know that there would need to be an ordinance established to create the EAC. We were able to get some really good documents from Albany Township, who already has an EAC. They shared their ordinance with us, and we revised it, and we'll share it with you. I'm not sure that it's ready yet, but it's a start, so we wanted to make that easy. We have 6 people interested, but we'd like to find out if there's anyone else out in the township that's interested. You know, there's a lot of people who have backgrounds that we don't even know about that might want to be part of this. And then we would provide you a list of people who are interested, and you would choose those members. And then we would just have to coordinate to schedule when we would have our monthly meetings so that we could still attend other meetings and people could join ours and work together.
So one thing we do have real quick is I have a piece of paper, for each of you. The first thing is names, a list of names of the people who we talked to. And then there's a sample ordinance ready to go with Maidencreek Township in it. If you want to look at our PowerPoint again, that's in there, and then the handbook of what EACs are from We Can Serve PA. If you have any questions.
Do you have one of those for Diane?
I do not, I'm sorry.
I'll steal Josh's.
I can send you it electronically.
We'll save a tree.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget your thumb drive.
Oh,
Yeah.
should I just yank it
Yeah,
out?
just yank it.
Okay. Might yell at me.
I guess my one question is, how difficult is it to make an ordinance, and how does that affect the township? How does this affect us? Like,
I think probably a good place to start is, really not the draft ordinance from a call that township, and that's the pluses and minuses that they're actually experiencing, the way to do it. But to adopt the ordinance, it's just a normal ordinance process, you run it through the system here, get reviews of it, advertise it twice, and try to get any information about the ordinance, so that process is pretty much straightforward. But if you wanna talk to some other townships, just to see pluses and minuses of having it, there's a lot of pluses that they just pointed out, so. And I don't know if there are any minuses, but I'm just saying, talk to the townships that have experienced. But, that's probably your best way to get your calls into this.
as long as you have enthusiastic people who want to be involved, it can do good things for you. Over time, you have to maintain that membership. That's the only, downside. I was at Hereford for a year, and their EAC had 2 members on when I was there. We managed to get it back up to 5, but they need projects to do. And if you don't have things for them to do, people don't want to waste their time. So this group seemed very enthusiastic and had energy, and they're looking for projects. And you do have the MS4 educational component. I mean, you pay to do with the county, but it's nice to have something that's more focused on your municipality.
How does funding get allocated, like initially? I mean, it would have to be something we'd have
Yeah,
to.
there's nothing in the budget this year.
Right.
This wasn't on my radar.
Did Albany say anything as far as start, like, how did they get it kicked off, how did they get it started? I mean, we can also look at that.
Yeah, I don't know that they had funding at first either. I think it was something that after they went through the process and then the budget came up again, then they were able to allocate. And they were a little bit different because they were working with, I think, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. And I think they got a gift from them to kind of help get them started.
I was just curious.
Yeah, that's my question too.
That could also be part of your grant writing,
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
you know, to get to fundraisers, you know,
Mhm.
from some, to try to just get it going. You know, a lot of times the costs are associated with projects that you decide to do.
Well, that's kind of thing, the fundraising, you could put a little bit of a, something aside that they could use it to get the
Right.
fundraising going and stuff like that, because I think like Parks and Rec really kind of took it and grew that into, you know, doing food trucks, and they give a portion of the monies from food truck sales and stuff, so it helps build that pot to kind of get it kicked off. So.
And the township's interested, I can probably use some other municipalities you can contact and kind of see, you know, if Eric pointed out what their experience is.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
that's
let's do a
what I'm.
bunch of them.
This way
Quite a
it's
few,
kind of
yeah,
like
Kutztown also.
Yeah, and Topton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to the rest of the public comment now, so we'll start with, this is on agenda items, we'll start with the first row. Second row. Third. Fourth. Good.
I'm Brooke Leister. I'm a land protection and stewardship specialist at Berks Nature, and I've worked with Maidencreek Watershed a lot, and also Maidencreek Township, and we're just really in support of an EAC for the township. We've seen the great things that EACs have done for Robinson and Albany specifically, and our mantra is nature is essential to the quality of life, and I think these folks are really holding true to that with their goals.
Thank you. Row four.
I'm Lynn Weber, live at 270 Hook Road. My whole life has been spent making things more beautiful, and I think this EAC would be a good way to do that. I mean, for me, it might be that every day I pick up a piece of trash along Hook Road when I'm walking my dog, or I might be planting a tree, or I might be restoring a building that was put on the farm in 1700s. But I would be excited about this group helping the township dream about how to make the whole township more beautiful, and I would love to be part of that if I could in some way.
Anybody else now? Last row? Yeah, we're the last one.
I had a question. Heidi Fiedler. Under new business, you have the consideration of Watkins Architects proposal for the municipal complex. Was there a RFP put out in general for this project?
We just, we did some meetings, and we worked with Watkins before,
Who has?
the town has.
That must be a while back, because I personally don't remember hearing that name before. So you just contacted him or them and just asked them for proposals, that was your saying?
Yes.
So why not open it up to other groups, or other architects?
We're just kind of getting our feelers put out there right now, preliminary is what we're looking at, yeah.
Okay, I mean, because there could be other qualified people, and you're saying you're already wanting to consider hiring them.
No,
I mean, that's what it says here. Consideration of the proposal.
they're looking at a proposal for us, so we've given them the ideas. A lot of the legwork initially was done by myself. I did a lot of the sketches of what we wanted to do for the renovation of this building. This is in relationship to not being able to work out at the well site building on the building over there, so this building is gonna have to get renovated and brought back into compliance. So a lot of that early legwork was done, and we presented it to them and said, here, what can you take with this, and can you make this work? So that's what they're looking at right now.
So this
Watkins
proposal,
also did the master plan for the complex as well.
Watkins was involved in it years, how many years ago was that, about 10 years ago?
No,
Or more than that, yeah. They did a master plan for this whole complex years ago, and so we're kind of revisiting what they did there, looking at that. We looked at the old drawings that they had provided, and it's much different than what they had provided, but they still have the background and everything already established in their system.
so this proposal is just for renovating this portion of this building.
Well, what they're looking at there's two projects. It's renovation of this project and the shop across the street. The shop across the street is going to be, we're looking at a CoStar's vendor for supplying the prefabricated building. So they're just gonna look at it and fit it into their master plan. Surveying has already been, taken care of for the site grading that's gonna be done, so all that's underway at this point. So then, like I said, Watkins will just take the building and place it in, basically the shop across the street to place it on the master plan.
So what's the dollar amount for their proposal?
Oh, yeah.
I have a problem.
The-
There's different,
Yeah, there's different categories up for conceptual design, that was $9,800.
And what else do they have? You said there's more, there's options.
Well, there's other tasks, like it goes through, all the way through construction, so they start out in the beginning, so conceptual design phase is what we're approving right now, or will be looking at, and that's $9,800, and then as it goes through, there's like percentages, task 2 will be a percentage fee, so that's in there. Invoices, the contract and bidding and the work that goes involved in that, that's task 3, that's $3,400, task 4 is a 4%. At 2% of construction cost. And then that's,
So their fee to monitor construction would be a percentage of the actual contract award to the builder or renovator.
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Charlie Flores, you mentioned that about the building across the street, I thought that was taken off the table and not even thought about.
No, the shop was never removed from the table. The building was, the one that was removed is the one we were partnering up with the water authority on. The water authority wanted, we were in communication with, it was gonna be their project. That's when we were gonna contribute $1.5 million. They were gonna put $1.5 million and build a building. But then when we got to the nuts and bolts of it, the estimate came in well over $4 million, and it just wasn't.
So this was never taken off the table?
No, but
It went from,
the iterations, it never got taken off the table, the iteration, the intent of that shop over there, if we were moving to that location over there, we would have provide facilities for our road crew over here. So they would have plumbing, they would have lavatories.
I remember you discussing.
Yeah, so because we're staying here, it doesn't make sense to, we're just building a garage over there, is essentially what it's gonna be. There's gonna be no mechanicals in there, it'll have electrical for air compressors and stuff like that, but there's no toilets in there, none of that.
But at
stuff.
one original time, that was taken away because you were thinking about putting in facilities as far as bathrooms and so on, correct?
It was the same company, they just redid the plans for it. So it was the same footprint, we
I
had,
understand what
we
you're
had
saying.
an extension for all that stuff
Okay.
onto it, so I just trimmed that all together.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it. All right, anybody else? Next on the agenda is Northern Berks Regional Police Report. So in Maidencreek for the month of January, there was 345 calls for service. There was 86 citations given in Maidencreek, 36 traffic warnings, 84 vehicle contacts, and 1 arrest was made. There was 29 crashes, and there was 34 day hours, 1,060 month hours to wait to 34 day hours in town. And as we had our meeting on Monday, and I think most people know, maybe not, our chief has retired. It has been, he's done as of yesterday. We have a conditional offer that was extended to a potential candidate. It has to go through, he has to go through drug test, background test, psychological test. So once all that is satisfied at that point, then an official contract will be given and extended to the new chief, potential chief. So until that happens, it's not, we're 95% of the way accomplished with that. But we're waiting on those last pieces to come in, and hopefully all goes well and we'll have a new chief. So that's where we're at.
On a question on that, is the chief being hired from within the department or is from outside?
Outside.
You, ready to give a name at this point or no?
It's
No, it's a simple yes or no,
Yeah.
it's no problem.
I don't think at this point right now, but I mean, it is out, I guess it is out, so yeah, it's gonna be, Wayne Holden is who they're looking for. or
Okay.
Who we're talking to.
And is he in law enforcement now?
Oh, yeah, he's a sergeant right now currently, he was
Okay.
an acting chief for a little duration, and So, yeah, he's over doing the interview, well, going through the process of conditional offer.
And he's originally from where?
Like, where is he resident?
No,
No,
please.
working.
Oh, he's,
What-
West Reading.
Okay. All right, thank you,
You got it?
appreciate it.
Okay, already did engineering. We're gonna go into solicitor.
So the first thing was Maidencreek warehouse, their minor amendments to the plans, that we have representatives here to present it to you.
Good evening, Greg Abel here on behalf of Maidencreek Associates. Nice to see everyone this evening. I just have some handouts to pass around, but we're here this evening for some minor changes to parking lot striping and removal of some wayfinding signage. If I can just pass out the 11x17 here, so you can see what we're talking about.
Is that small version of this?
Yes, it's easier to handle than the
You
full.
know the environmental people here right now?
We can recycle. It's all for the easy. Start with the parking lot striping. The approved plan in the bottom left-hand corner showed 135 trailer storage spaces. What we're proposing now is restriping that area to provide 145. No new impervious, no changing of any of the light standards, anything like that. It's literally just pavement striping and better utilization of the space for the tenant's need. And then the second sheet I handed out was, as part of the land development approval, the prior engineer required us to put a multitude of wayfinding signage around the plan, all saying the same thing. Building entrance with an arrow, and they were about 18 inches by 18 inches. As we've constructed the site, we've realized we really don't need all of them. And this was proposed to remove 35 of the sign locations, which are indicated on the plan in the little orange boxes. You can see that they're all over the parking lot. Really, actually, I think confuses the internal circulation. Everybody kind of knows where the building signage is now. They know where the building entrance is just by looking up. They really don't need to have all of the wayfinding signage. I think that was the worry at the time. We didn't have any wall signage or building signage proposed as part of the land development application. So the prior engineer thought they needed all of this additional wayfinding signage. And that's it. We're just asking for the board to sign off on those changes, given that they were on the final plan, but they are really minor changes most of the time. These are really field changes, but we thought it would be necessary just to make sure the board could review and approve, and if there were any issues, we could address them.
The real issue why I wanted them to get it for you is that these improvements are on the record plan, so they're on record at the county. So we wanted to have some type of record in the files here that show 20 years from now, if someone comes back from the town and says, hey, you didn't put this stuff in here, we wanted a record why the change was made, or that the change was approved, not wrong. I did talk to the engineer, he hasn't had a chance to fully review them yet. I think they're minor, there's no changes to drive aisle
Yeah,
widths and all,
there's
that's gonna
just-
be his concern, is
Right.
not so much the signs, his concern is just to make sure circulation still works well, that I'm looking at it. I think
That's
it's-
right, there's nothing that changes anything in terms of the overall internal circulation or of the overall building structure or impervious or curbing. It's literally pavement striping. Think about it, if you had a new tenant coming in many years later and you wanted to change some parking lot striping, that's really what they were
Understood, yeah. So, where we are, I have no problem with a conditional approval of this tonight with LTL, obviously coordinating with you and making sure that they're satisfied. Knee-jerk reaction, he's satisfied, he's just, with everything else he's trying to catch up on, he's not fully reviewed it yet, so, that's where my recommendation is, and unless you guys, think differently, I think it'd be okay to conditionally approve it based upon LTL's, review and approval of the changes.
How many signs are remaining?
The wayfinding,
Yeah.
that's a
So the signs that are gonna be up, are gonna be the signs that have been submitted to the township and approved primarily, which are the East End manufacturing signs, the
Yeah.
DECA signs. So we brought a copy if you'd like to see, that wayfinding package, and it very similarly mirrors directional signage pointing to the entrances, pointing truckers to their designated areas, and replaces materially these signs.
Yeah. Oh. The only reason I was asking is it's hard to see all this one here, how many are in the back, like towards the back of the building, that would direct them towards the front of the building, is there any signs back there that's remaining?
I'm gonna pull up the big plan and show you.
Yeah. It's in your plan sheet that you didn't wanna open.
Just because there's.
So I can show you one here.
Yeah, there's 8 that are being removed back there.
Can you sum up this?
I mean, there's really nowhere to go either.
Right, you go one direction around.
On the back side here, I should see full set, I can come up and show you. This is, so you see there's another box back here. And when you get back there, that's what you're asking,
Yeah.
they'll have a sign here that's pointing them to either
I got you.
go around, or to enter to the, truck and storage parking area. And so, they're effectively.
So that's back right there.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
So this is the full package, you can see it. And this is in addition to the lot signage that you're requiring at the entrances. So you have your monument sign
Yep.
towards the front, there's the main entrance sign, just to flip back and forth. Secondary signage, as this is primarily the truck route,
Mhm.
coming from here, which is then go to either go to the employee entrance, continue down to the truck entrance. You saw this sign, oh, sorry, this is number 3, so the truck is coming up. We'll have signage to go to the truck entrance, and as they're coming back in the opposite direction, so that they come back to the site, you see truck exit, or if someone's lost, employee visitor parking entrance. As you're coming around the site, this is sign 5. That's coming where you're southbound on 222, that's where it's gonna tell you to either go or continue back to the left. You can go to the employee parking stop area. And the final sign, which is if you're coming in and you had already been directed by this sign to go to the employee area, and you're coming to this side. This is primarily the employee entrance area in the portion of the building. It's directed people to continue to basically go to the employee entrance area.
And how big are those monuments on?
8
The
foot
one
wide.
You know, Greg said the other signs that are being moved are.
These
They're being changed, right.
They were
are large monuments to direct the circulation.
I just wanted to see this in the back there directly.
Yeah.
Your way.
Those signs make much sense to me.
Oh, absolutely, the 18 by 18 versus.
And the 18 by 18 were everywhere around the parking lot, so depending on which angle you were looking at, you're not exactly sure. And
Well, I'll be honest with you, later in this conversation in our meeting here, there's a request from a resident about signage for engine retarders because they're dinky little signs, they are, and
Yeah,
that's what
you can't see
PennDOT
it.
told us to do, so. Yeah, I truly don't, I guess we can do it, I'll make the motion that, yeah, I'll have it conditional with engineering, with LTL, but with the caveat that I don't have a problem with either case here. So I'll make the motion that, it's under conditional approval from the engineer. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you there.
I had a question for you, Mr. Mack. You approved this without having the township engineer look at this, is
No,
what you're saying?
conditional on LTL
No,
approval.
and
Okay.
Greg, he did look at it, so his needs, he thinks it.
I heard that part.
So,
It's a conditional approval.
Yes,
correct, yes,
All right, okay, thank you.
I have one question. Is there anticipated occupancy of of the property by East Front?
Anticipated occupancy?
Yes, the date of occupancy.
Date.
Date, yeah.
I don't have the date off the top of my head, but.
I mean-
Sometime this spring.
Like April, May?
Sometime this spring.
Yeah, okay. And is there actually gonna be any manufacturing going on there? I know it says East Penn Manufacturing, but I just.
That's the company's name, but it's not.
No, I know that's what it's,
That was all part of
It's
your.
warehouse.
Yeah, it's whatever's permitted.
Same as we were permitted.
well, I know there's warehousing and there are people that's manufacturer. There's even, as people probably heard of, a warehouse purchased by ICE, in northern part of the county that they're gonna use for illegal immigrants, so you just never know. It starts out as one thing and ends up as something
They're on
else.
it, they have a zoning review, trust us.
Oh, I'm sure
They're
you
not
are.
letting us to do nothing, we'll just,
I'm
follow
sure
it.
you're on it.
So, Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Mr. Voorhees, take care.
Yep, have a good night now.
The other thing on my agenda is the roundabout maintenance agreement. Diane made significant comments to it. I added some of mine, and Diane had a history here, so she actually tried to make it consistent with the roundabout agreement you approved in the past. So she caught all that stuff. So really what it boils down to in the end, what we'll go back to PennDOT with, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we'll take care of the lights, maintenance of the lights, but that's it. So, yeah, so.
I was also part of the meeting that Diane had with PennDOT, and from the glance that I had through it and what she had told me,
This was a lot more inclusive.
they didn't listen to the thing we said
Right.
apparently.
So I have not gotten back to them, I was kind of waiting this meeting to get back to them, we're waiting on plans still, right? So we don't have anything, so it's really no rush to do anything, no action that I think we need to do at this point. But I will get those comments now back to PennDOT, and hopefully workforce, to agree that we're consistent with the other, so our goal.
It took 18 months the last time to get the agreement, so no rush.
This, part of the agreement though, I know it's a maintenance agreement, but was the items that we discussed as a requirement for this, was that a part of that? As far as like the no stone and concrete?
Oh, no, that's not spelled out, and they'll do whatever they want to do. And that's why we want to see the final plans, because we still don't know what they want to do. And I'm not sure where they're at with getting the plan recorded. I know that they just started acquiring land, because we're starting to see $0 transactions go through every county.
Sure. I think,
You guys got comments?
well, I think part of the maintenance thing that, it is a maintenance thing as far as I'm concerned, because they don't maintain what they have out here. When there's an accident out here, the stones are all over the road, they just push them off to the side. I'd like to see that, and that was discussed in our meeting, that the roundabout be concrete all the way, like, example I say is the one in Ole has the concrete in the middle.
And so then, if during the last go around, well, if you want concrete, then you'll maintain it. Oh, no, we won't, well, then we're gonna do stone, and that's how it ended, and that's how we ended up with stone. Because concrete, how many times has the concrete curbing been?
They don't even fix it,
No.
blowing out now, right? That's part of the maintenance agreement that they should take care of.
If we had the responsibility, they'd expect us to, and if we didn't do it, they could take our state liquid fuel to have them do it. So,
A question on that, with the two other roundabouts that's coming down the road in the next year or two, what do they propose in their basically bidding for those types as far as concrete or anything, do you know?
That's what this is actually for, so only one of those two is in Maidencreek, the other one's over the line.
Right,
Right, so this is, this agreement here is for the one that's supposed to be at Pleasant Hill Road. So like I said,
Okay.
Diane and I met with them over a year ago, I think it was at this point, and we sat down with their engineer and their contractor, foreman, or whatever they use. We sat down and we went over line by line by line, what all we were, what we wanted and what, the lights and everything. And they said they had to take that back to PennDOT, and then they came up with this, and like I said, there's not, I skimmed it, I read it a little bit, but once I started seeing that they weren't.
So there's no definitive what they're gonna do down Pleasant Hill Road then either.
Right,
So this
That's
is,
what we
this,
wanted to
this
know.
really doesn't talk about what the design is,
Yeah.
it says who's responsible for it after it's.
Right.
built.
No,
We're
I
waiting for the
understand
plan. But this agreement came back that we're responsible basically for everything.
Right. No, I
Curbs, curbs, lights, signs, everything, we're like, nope, take all that out,
Right.
we'll replace the light bulbs, but.
So it means while they do that, eventually you'll have 3 of them if you go with that instead of just 2. Right?
we know it's coming,
Right,
there's no stopping that, it's just that at this point, we're trying to figure out who's gonna maintain it, who's responsible for what.
correct, but you're gonna go from 2 of them now, figuring it out, to you'll really have the 3rd one also.
Yeah, correct, yep,
Thank you.
you got it.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Alright. Alright, Public Works, Keith Schuman. Well, I guess I can do the first one, right? Alright, so we had, our heater in the one garage bay completely died. Right in single digit.
Of course.
So we need to, I guess, ratify and approve the garage heater replacement at a cost for $10,975 from M&M Mechanical. I'll make a motion that we approve, the replacement.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I recuse.
And then, the other garage heater died this week. That's being
Prepared. And the other one is, you can elaborate on truck radio purchases?
Many years ago, we relied on truck radios to communicate between the trucks, and since our winters have not been as aggressive as this year, we really haven't needed them. But with the numerous storms that we've had this year, over and over, we found that, we could use the truck radios back in some of the trucks. So 3 of our trucks do not have them, 3, 5, and 6, so I'm asking we put the truck radios in there so we all can communicate a little bit easier during these long storms that we've had this year.
I'm gonna elaborate on it a little bit because I know your feelings on this. And this was a topic, actually, I was in passing, said it at the police commission meeting, not in the meeting, but was talking. And nobody should really go on their phones anyway at this point because of the law change. So having the radios in the truck for, it's when we're out plowing, because I help plow. And it's, you got a lot going on and you're trying to look at your phone to see who's where, to, help out here and there, and it's a pain. It's easier to reach down and grab a CB mic and get on the in-house radio and see what's going on. So it was brought to our attention by one of the road crew that doesn't like doing it. I don't personally either, but so anyhow, yeah, it's three radios to completely outfit the rest of the fleet. And
Yeah, it's truck
the
3,
new
truck
trucks.
5, and truck 6.
Yeah, the new
That's-
trucks didn't get them put in when we got them.
That's correct, yeah.
It's $3,093.
Okay, yeah, it's
For all 3.
And that is installed.
Installed.
Then they come here, put them in, good to go.
Because they got to program it to our base station
Yep,
here.
correct, yes.
So 3,093, you said?
25 cents.
All right, so do I have a motion to purchase truck radios at a cost of $3,093.75 from Triangle Communications?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? All right, Mark, is that it for you?
That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna chime in, I mean, I was out plowing with you too, but I wanna pass on, thanks to the road crew for all their hard work, and it was a long day, and you guys put more in than me, and I know I had 21 hours that day, so.
It was, and I'd like to thank you and Dawn for coming out there and seeing how it was. So, thank you guys, we appreciate it.
We're just watching. All righty.
You do driveways?
They close them in.
We do the edges.
Yeah. Nice straight line right at the end.
Several times.
Yep.
It was a storm to keep up with, that's for sure, that's for sure.
Just as you finish it.
Well, and on that side, now we're going down the road, we did, it does go, I see the page sometimes, and, sometimes everybody's like, oh, the plow hasn't been down our road. Well, for instance, we had one of our plows go off the road. I I myself, was coming down Oak Road and a vehicle did not want to get off the line and actually ran me off the road. So, you know, it is, I was actually talking to Ismwares up here the other day, and, you know, they're having issues with vehicles not slowing down and getting around, you know, tow trucks and stuff, and it's the same thing with the plow. We're hustling to just as much as everybody else to try to get done, and you know, it woke me up real quick. I mean, I was awake, but you definitely, when the plow dips off the edge of the road, and anybody that plows know that your blade goes off the edge and it sucks the truck right off, and there's nothing you're gonna do to stop it. So you know, we wanted to pass that on, and I wish I had a picture of it. You know, they had cots set up in here because they're away from their families too, as much as everybody else. So they're here to go out on the street when the duty calls. And so yeah, it was. I walked in, there's a table here. Diane supplied some food for them, and crock pot, hot chicken pot pie meal, and the cots here. You know, and like I said, the residents don't get to see that stuff. So
I saw it, it was nice, but I didn't take any.
They're not looking for anything on it, they're just doing their job, but, you know, I wish some of the residents honestly would see that, you know, that's what goes into it, so.
Could you get a little closer to my mailbox than 10 feet away? Don't take it down, but just a little.
Stay away.
I lean out the window and get real close to the curb, because I don't want to hit mailboxes.
But man, that was a lot to get to.
Junk mail.
I left it there for a couple of days and just screw it, the mail doesn't have to come. I'll go to the post office.
All right, Aaron, Parks and Rec.
We had a meeting in January. We also had a planning meeting last week with the Fleetwood Area Community Organization. We're kind of getting ready to finalize our plans for the big 250th anniversary Family Fun Day at Community Park. It will be held on June 27th from 10 to 2. We have 9 food trucks booked for the event, anticipating a large turnout, so I went ahead and booked quite a bit more than we normally do. They're all excited. They're going to have menus that are tailored to the event. We have a DJ booked. The DJ has generously offered his services for free as a donation to the township. We also have a band booked that will do the same thing as well, so there will be music throughout the course of the event. Again, a couple things we're doing is the whole event's going to be centered around the anniversary, along with a children's parade. So we're looking at getting businesses there to have, they can do a little advertising. Also, the fee for that would be setting up a table for children to decorate various things to attach to their vehicles for the parade. There will also be a food eating contest with adults and children. It'll be pie and watermelon. There will be a dog dress-up contest. There will be we're looking at renting a dunk tank and some other things, so I'm gonna send that information to the office then. I found a place that's local that has everything, so, you know, that might be nice there. We also have, what else was here on there? I don't have a list with me, but.
Weren't we having a jump
We're gonna it was only like a bounce castle.
bounce house, maybe the axe?
This dog tank. They also have they could rent an axe showing. It's not axe, but it's like the inflatable thing, like they had at the fire company.
We're not gonna.
Yeah. They had that there available for rent as well. Maybe like some cornhole games, things of that nature.
Maybe have set up a kickball tournament.
Yeah. Yep.
That, you know, several groups can get in and.
Yeah, something we can do on the baseball field or something like that, yeah.
Still coming up with a couple extra ideas.
Yeah.
And then possibly fireworks after the
food truck.
The food trucks on Friday night, if we can swing that with Diane.
Friday night. Yep.
We're working on that.
Mm-hmm. Some other organizations have volunteered to help out with our fun day. I know the Friends of Fleetwood Park were interested in helping out, so I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'll do some judging.
And the scavenger hunt.
And the scavenger hunt. The Fleetwood Historical Society has volunteered to partner with us for that. They're going to select six
sites, and then that'll go on for 6 weeks.
Yep, leading up to the event, and then the final week, the week of the event, we'll announce the results and then have some handout for everybody who participated with that.
Some small prizes.
Yeah.
And then a trophy or something for the winners.
Yeah, we're still finalizing the parameters of that and whatnot, but yeah.
And then another group said that they would help with the pet prize, pet parade or some
Yeah,
contest.
yeah,
They were interested. We're trying to get other groups a little more involved than us running everything with Fleetwood, because they're not doing as much, trying to pull them in. They are doing some stuff. They're doing,
so
what is it
they're gonna
called?
do a parade, and then they're gonna do a tailgate at the school, so they're gonna have a parade, it'll follow the same route as a homecoming parade, and then they'll end up at the school, they're gonna do a tailgate there, where they'll have people come, they'll be able to make food, hand it out, tailgate, that type of thing. And then that'll all kind of lead up to then having everybody go to the park, where they're gonna have a band playing. I'm not sure who the
Their
band,
regular concert in the park.
concert in the
that
park.
They were going to have anyway.
Yeah, yep,
It was already set up,
yeah,
so they just included that.
right.
And I
Yep.
think that's pretty much all they're doing.
There's also gonna be a business and home decorating contest. We're trying to
Which
have,
we're running
well,
too.
we're still working the details on that, but we're trying to have somebody else kind of take a lead on it, and we'll just provide some help with getting it facilitated, because we do the couple decorating contests in the
Still
township already.
trying to get other
Still
people
trying.
incorporated
Yeah.
into that too.
Yeah.
Seems Maidencreek is pretty much running almost everything, but
Yeah.
we're trying to pull Fleetwood into getting more involved. So there's really 3 of us from Park and Rec, because one of ours is in Thailand.
Mhm. And, yeah, so,
So-
we're hashing out that, we're gonna get a list, a timetable essentially of the events, what time they're gonna be taking place. For that, settled at our next meeting this month, so that we can provide it to them to start advertising.
And the Lions Club is running the food eating
Yep,
contest.
they agreed to provide watermelon and pie and help facilitate that contest, which is really great to do some collaboration, so.
We
Yeah.
were gonna ask the fire department tonight, but they ran away. I don't
Yeah.
think they wanted to do anything.
Yeah, maybe like touch a truck or
I
something
think
like
they
that.
knew we were gonna talk to
Yeah.
them tonight.
Yeah. We have, coming up, starting April 3rd, will be the Food Truck Fridays coming back. Hopefully the weather holds well. So everybody's excited for that. I got a lot of excitement on the Facebook events that are out there. The Craft Show Flea Market, we're almost booked for that. I have 56 people signed up already for May, so I think I only have it set at about 70. So we're pretty close already. So I think the first day I put it out, I got 40 people signed up immediately. Yeah.
Aaron,
It's
can
fast.
you make,
Mhm.
people pay in advance and they're not confirmed till they pay? Because we had a lot of people call in last year at the last minute and they could have had spots because you had a bunch that didn't show up.
Yeah, that's one thing I would like to try to get established, is a way for them to pay up front, because sending them in the mail is kind of, not as convenient, I think, and some things can get lost, so.
How can we do that?
If there's an electronic way, a Venmo, PayPal, a Cash App, something like that we could possibly do to have them pay, because again, we want to also take out the opportunity for people to scam too. I don't want that in there as well, so maybe that's something we can come up with, because at this point, I just have them paying at the time of the event. I don't have them mailing anything in this time, just, at the time of the event is when I have it, yeah. And I'll probably cut it at 70, and then just, if any other people call in, we can kind of overbook a little bit, because we'll anticipate that, so many won't.
It's
won't
really
make it.
chaotic getting them to pay at the event
Yeah.
too, because it gets really backed up trying to get
Oh, yeah,
people in the morning, because all of the lineup is waiting there and they want to get set up.
yeah. We found that we may need some more volunteers perhaps to help kind of,
Have 2 lines or something, I'm not sure how to do that.
so we'll probably look at that for this event particularly. So if there's a way we can do some sort of
If we can
electronic,
Do a Venmo or,
Well, we can't.
no, but there's some way.
We need permission here and
Mhm.
if we did any kind of electronic payment, we have to charge the fee back to
Right.
the people. Township's not allowed to pay the 3% service charge. And there's only certain companies that you can use as a municipality.
Mhm.
So then there's a lot of moving pieces on that.
Are most of the people local people that are
No, there's a good amount, but no, a lot of them are not residents of the township.
local people that are great checkers?
Yeah, yeah,
crafters are crazy, they'll come from a distance.
yeah. Some of the folks they drive a considerable distance to participate. So there's a handful, but I would say most are not actual residents. I know the authority has it.
Again?
That's May 3rd.
April 3rd.
Food truck, April 3rd.
Oh.
That's the start of the food truck. The May 3rd, right? It's the first Saturday of May. I think it's either the second or the 3rd.
I
I
think
can't.
it's the third.
Is it the 3rd? It's the first Saturday, and it'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
The second.
Second?
Is it
Okay,
the
thank you.
second? I
All
thought
right.
it was the third.
October 3rd, then will be the other one. So I was confusing there. All right, so May 2nd, yes. Yep. And there'll be food trucks there as well. I already have them booked solid, so they'll be there. Of course, to help generate some extra income for the township, so. And then we have the cleanup in April, 22nd, I think, is the
Earth Day.
date. April 22nd for Earth Day. So I'll be getting together a sign up for that as well. I think, I'm not sure if I have an event set up already. I put out a lot of events on Facebook, publicly out there for everybody from our little page we have. So, but if I don't, I'll be getting that out there soon too, so we can try to get a good amount of people to help clean up the parks again. This would be our 3rd year doing it, I think, third annual?
Yep, third year. Yep.
Yep, and it kind of grows every year, which is nice, so. Yep, that's pretty much what's coming up for us.
Then we have a movie night.
Movie night will be in June, yes. Yes, gotta figure out what's popular for that, but yes. Is that,
I think that's all we have set so far.
yes, that'll be the 3rd Friday, 19th, I believe. It's in the calendar, yeah.
Well, with the meeting.
We'll have a couple meetings, yeah, but just again, to get it out there for.
Too many dates.
Again, excitement, yes. That'll be a later showing because of the light, so. But again, we have some food trucks available for that night as well.
I think
And-
that's 8:35
It's late, it's a late one, yeah.
because of the sun.
I think I reserved the movie screen and everything.
Yeah.
You just have to buy the license for the movie.
Yep, and we'll look at figuring out the movie we're gonna show. Yeah, went really well last year. That one we had in August was great turnout, blew our expectations, so,
150 or so
something like that.
people.
Yeah, it was great. The weather was good. It got a little colder towards the end, but it was, a good day for it. Everything kind of worked out, so. We're hoping to, have the same type of turnout, even maybe possibly more, so, yeah. Yeah. I think that's all we have at this point. We'll have more info at the next meeting after our parks meeting where we can kind of get a schedule of events and really get that out there so we can really start the promotion. And then at the Fleetwood Area Community Organization, they're not gonna be sending out the flyer anymore. They're gonna be digital now.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some issues, I guess, with the printer or something like that, so now it's all digital.
And Diane doesn't want to participate.
We wouldn't have to send it out anymore anyway, but yeah, it's digital now, so.
It's not that I did it.
I
on
know.
purpose. It
It's
is we
expensive.
already do 4 publications.
Yeah.
And we would have had to pay over $3,000.
I know, we agree with you. We
Yeah.
just sit back and blame it on you.
Yeah, we would have paid $3,000 for 3 pages.
Mhm.
No,
It just wasn't our best purpose.
No?
That's a nice idea.
we're with you.
Yep, no, we agree.
We totally agree with you.
That's what she said.
We just look at you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to manager.
January is the month where I don't ever get away from my desk because it's nothing but reporting, so all your reports have been filed. Everything's done on time. All the 1099 NECs were mailed, WPs were mailed, the whole 9 yards. Registered everybody for the convention. We did flagger training this week. We met with Larry Lloyd to talk about some grants and the next tree planting in the community park. We wants to set up a meeting for the end of February to finalize the spring planting. We had 2 insurance claims that we had to file. We got paid out for both, so $1,000 deductible. That was it on the salt shed that we had to file. We met with First Energy, that's on your agenda, so we'll talk about that. We met with Watkins, walked them through the property so they could update their file. Checked in with Burke Surveying on the progress of the garage ENS plans, and that's coming along. Things are moving along well. The winter maintenance, we didn't have a whole lot of trouble getting salt. The guys did a good job. There were a few repairs that needed to be made, a few mailboxes that came down, but you know what, that's just the cost of doing business in Pennsylvania in the winter. Everything's good.
Yep.
Everybody's
touched on a little bit, but, there's a request from a resident about signage for engine retarded or prohibited area. So
So we were contacted, can we make the signs bigger? We had asked that question before and got a resounding no. Could we put more signs up? Well, PennDOT had said no to that before as well. So the next idea was to do the signs that have LED lights around them. So I have a contact now at PennDOT who's been very helpful, Jonathan Coombs, and so I sent him the request, and he came back with a letter. PennDOT actually has a policy on LED bordered signs, and so before they would let us do something like that, we have to clear the vegetation, ask for double placement of the signs, put the conspicuous plaque, you know what I'm talking about, those plaques on them, which they told us we had to take off. Rumble strips, increase the size of the sign, or put reflective material on the post. So now I'm a little confused, but I think we can step through the process again and ask if we're allowed to do these things, since now they're telling us I have to ask to do these things before we get LED lights around them. I feel like I'm in a circle.
Can we ask their engineer to come out?
You want me to set up a meeting? Maybe we can go, we'd have to go out to them, they don't come to us, necessarily, I just was out there.
I'm going out there and bringing up the onslaught from point A to point B. Turning arrows, brake retarders, where's their roundabout agreement?
Mowing while you're at it.
But if these are all options that are available, and they've already said no to them,
Is it dated? If it's a policy, is there a date on that?
2022.
Oh, that's nice. So that was in place when they told you couldn't do that originally.
Yeah.
Make sure it's clear.
All right, so, I just want the board's direction. I don't wanna go through this again if the board doesn't want me to do anything, but I think that it's worth trying.
We can. I don't have my hopes very high. But
What would you like me to ask for? Bigger signs, more signs, the little things on them?
I don't think more signs, because too many signs, people just don't even look at them. Bigger signs, yeah, but I think it needs to be bigger and something to catch their attention.
Maybe the reflective strips on the
Yeah.
posts?
The orange triangles, was that only for
there was
speed?
those reflective squares that we had on there, and they made us take them off. So, I can see this already, they're gonna tell us to take the post, and then we'll get an email telling us to take it off.
Mr. Coons has been very, very helpful with, he helped me with the traffic signals and getting the switches for the fire company to turn them off and on. It was very painless actually working with them. Taking that.
Still in the honeymoon period.
No.
His name is Jonathan Coons. C-O-O-N-S. Very helpful.
I'm okay with sending it back again. See what happens.
What's the worst that happens? Say no. Which then we'll have to ask for the LED lights around it and see if they do that. Which is an expense, and we have to make them solar, so hopefully they would increase the sign size and let us do some of the other things.
It's such a weird dynamic. It's their corridor, their road, their signage that they tell us what to do, but yet we're responsible. See what it says.
Okay, will do.
Roll business, new business. Consideration of Watkins Architects proposal for the municipal complex renovation project. So we need a motion to approve the cost for task one of the conceptual design of pulling together the multiple projects at a cost of $9,800. And the conceptual design for task one covers evaluate owner-provided information and programming, 2 to 3 conceptual schemes for floor plans, facade layouts, based on the previous, field survey. I'm assuming they meant their layout that they did. 1 conceptual review meeting, to review and finalize design / approvals. And it'll update concept after meeting for a final layout, which I assume is in the next part then, yeah, and refine additional floor plans. So that refining of the floor plans is phase 2, but the updated conceptual concept after meeting layout, that's in that cost, so cost of $9,800.
And so when we talked to just to let the board know, I gave him my budget number, you know, we need to try to keep it under $1 million. And I explained about the mechanicals in the building. It's probably more than $1 million project, but he's going to do this in such a way that it can be phased in. We do the most important work and we have the money for the rest of it, or we have money for the rest of it. And see what happens. But the mechanicals in this building are
Yeah.
in the
So renovation projects in general, usually 9 chances out of 10 are gonna cost, sometimes can cost more than what it does to build a new building in general. We're trying to minimize that. So we had agreed to do $1.5 million as a partner with the Water Authority. And I think striving for at least $1 million to do the renovations. We'll see what they come up with, but. Anyway, so yeah, I need a motion to approve the conceptual design for this task with Watkins Architect of $9,800. Do I have a motion?
And that's just task 1.
Task 1.
That's what.
Just task.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Another fun one. Consideration of First Energy LED streetlight agreement. This one's not that bad, actually.
Not that bad.
I'll give you that.
Okay, you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was in on it. You good?
You were. Josh and I met, and he's gonna jump in when he feels like it. But Med-Ed is changing out, all their own streetlights. There's 230 of them in the township, and they're changing to LED. They no longer can get sodium vapor, streetlight heads. They've stopped manufacturing them. We're going to have a similar problem. There's one manufacturer still doing bulbs, so they can, for the moment, change out bulbs and bulb lights. There's no cost to us for the conversion. We need to sign an agreement. Come out and they'll do a field audit of what lights we have. Somewhere in this township is one mercury vapor light. One. I pay $12 and 70-some cents a month for this one light, and I'm hoping they find it. It's driving me crazy. They'll let us pick wattage. They will give us a recommendation based on what's there now, what is the equivalent in LED. If we have a problem intersection that we want to light more, we could, it probably will cost us more. And then we also will be able to pick the 3K or 4K, which is the brilliance of the light. The 4K is more white, the 3K is softer. So we probably want to keep the 3K in the residential and put the 4K along the highways. They're going to do communities that pick to do all 4K lights first. So if you want to get done first, everything's got to be the right way. Which I don't know that we want. The Med-Ed owned lights are going to be the old lights that were here before the developments. East Westner, West Westner, Park Road, 73, 222. Except the roundabouts, those are ours. Grove, Golden, so all of the older areas in the township. And I would say that it would get done this year if we sign the agreement. And this light system that they're putting in, they're gonna have the ability to monitor the light's power and output, and they'll know when the lights are out before we get a call from a resident, hopefully. So sounds like they could do a lot with the system if they wanted to.
Keith, just out of curiosity, when we were talking, she was talking about wattages, what did we say that there's, because they're already putting LEDs in as you're going around, right? As the lights glow, you're changing to put LEDs.
We are putting the 4Ks in.
4Ks, so that's, so, yeah, I think we take a look at it, their lighting plan anyway when they come back. I have a feeling that the majority are going to be the 4K anyway. But they're the ones, I haven't really noticed any that are like absolutely obnoxious. I
They're
don't
all
think.
obnoxious.
Well, I think.
Have you been to developments with LED
My
lights?
parents still live in.
Every single customer hates them.
Yeah.
Township all fight them.
Work for me.
Yes. That's why I'm telling you. Townships fight it.
Yeah.
Like Easton was supposed to do a huge conversion and they shut it down. Because like it's horrible.
For all LEDs or just,
For in the city of Easton, yeah.
so how are they doing it if they don't produce their lights anymore?
I don't know. That's the first I've heard, and I've never heard that they can monitor
So like,
streetlights.
they had said, so there's like an app that they're developing that eventually we could put on here that we could track and,
I don't know how.
they're smart,
Find out for me.
smart.
I don't work there
people
anymore. What are the contractor? But I've never, ever heard that they could track the LED lights.
Yeah, he's saying there's a smart signal that feeds a line back to them that they can control the lights. They
That would mean they'd all have to be radioed then.
no idea what they're putting on.
We're not paying for it, so I won't know
Yeah.
what we're getting.
Residents will not be happy. Telling you right now.
I think that
Like lights.
if we don't do it now, we're still gonna have to do it
Yeah,
eventually.
we're gonna get forced to do it,
Yeah, either way.
because they're not, they're lights. So we're,
But doesn't the township own some of the lights?
We own they said 244.
Yeah.
I think we own more than that, but,
'Cause from my understanding, they're responsible for the power and they're responsible for the bulb on the head.
they do mold and photo cell, and we would have to change the head if the head goes bad. But what if we switch to LED lights, the entire contract is voided? And they don't do any work on our lights then,
So then who's gonna maintain them then?
we would have
yeah, we would have to take.
And we don't even have access to a bucket truck.
don't, but, we.
So we do it
handle
twice a year,
We handle it.
and those LED lights go out a lot.
No, they're not supposed to, Jeremy.
Just telling you. Just telling you.
I'm gonna have to fact check that.
Go ahead. I've replaced them.
They're made in China and the drives in them, they tell you they're supposed to last 20 years and they don't.
6 months.
That's a
Again,
fact.
It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like we have a choice to say yes or no whether they're putting these in, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a yes or, they're coming to us, they give us the chance to select what we want. It's coming on their polls. So that's the caveat, like, we're putting them in, we're meeting with you so we can do this light study to give you the chance to say if you want 4K or 3K lights for brightness, like they use the high crime area, you go high crime area or high traffic area, you want the 4K lights because they're brighter, and 3K area for your developments and stuff. Now, from what I understand, I don't think the much of the lighting that's in the developments are our responsibility, those are our lights.
Right.
They cover like the main corridor, like Ryan was saying, those are med headlights, but the residential areas,
Are yours.
the connector streets and the developments and stuff, those are ours. So, as far as the 253 or whatever they said, yeah, it's coming, they're doing it.
So then when the responsibility turns to townships, what's the plan for 200 and 300 people?
Void the contract when they do it to their own?
No,
Okay.
it's just when we do it.
Yeah. Yeah, their stuff is, I don't think ever gonna be ours.
No,
Yeah, that's,
so Med Ed only has wooden poles, and ours are all on metal poles, and that was why we had a problem with PennDOT and the lights in the traffic circle, because PennDOT refused to do wooden poles that didn't meet their spec, and Med Ed would not take ownership of anything on a metal pole.
so yeah, this is just the,
If you don't wanna do it now, you're gonna have to do it later.
right. But the consideration of the streetlight agreement allows them to come in and do the lighting study, so we can get in and take a look at what they wanna put where and yada
And
yada.
give
So-
us the choice of
so-
brightness and.
Cause they're saying that they're gonna come out and do this study, this analysis, they're already checking poles now already, from the sounds of it. Checking the feeds, checking everything that's on their poles, doing their analysis there, and then, once they do the study, then they'll come back to us with the lighting plan, and then we will sit down and look at it, so that's what That's how I interpreted that.
Yeah, and the LED rate will be lower than what we currently pay custodian rate, but we don't have that rate yet.
And there, yeah, I want to, so you had said about the cost, that it would cost more. If you go to the higher watt, if you go over the 4,000, like they were saying, you go to a higher, really high wattage, and depending on the amount of those lights that you put in, that will inflate the rate cost. Right? It's not, it doesn't cost us anything to put it in, but for them to feed the power to it, the power we pay to supply that light is gonna be at a higher price than a 3,000 wattage. So that's the explanation that they gave us on that. But yeah, the install, everything else is all, that is cost for their lights.
So you're saying that the 3,000 or the 4,000?
Those are the two they're offering us. Correct.
And so that's not gonna cost us
Correct.
more? Okay, just wanted to be clear for that.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll put out there, is there a motion for, consideration of the First Energy LED street light agreement for them to get started looking at the, light study and analysis?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Alrighty. There's a request from a resident to rename one end of Critter Place. Go ahead, Gates.
Did you,
Yeah. She does use Critter Place as her
Does she?
mailing list. She
would
does.
she have an issue with changing her address? Yes. Everybody has.
Yeah, I mean, it's
changing
a
their
pain in the butt, so.
It is.
I mean, yeah.
So here's what, we got a phone call from a gentleman that lives on Critter Place. And Critter Place runs from Mountain Spring and dead ends, and comes on the other side from West Westner and dead ends. It never connects. And he says that he's having trouble with delivery people hitting the wrong end of it, and then they can't drive through, and they're lost. And even people that come to visit him are turning into the wrong Critter Place. We've got 2 people on the one end, and 3 people on the other. It's going to be, we're going to make somebody unhappy if we change the name of the road. I don't know if putting a north and a south would make a difference.
It is signed, right? I mean,
It is signed, it's very difficult. Honestly, I am very surprised that anybody's finding Critter Place off of West Western, because that's a narrow.
And that's a township road?
entrance. No, they're private.
Ah.
So I will tell you that I drove those type streets. And the problem that we had is we got back the address we had, the place, you get up in there, and then it says, there's a sign that says no trespassing or something like that. So it's like, I was like, I'm not going up there any farther, you know, I found the other end of it, and so we found it, but it really looked like you shouldn't even go up there, that they didn't want anyone up there at all.
They're private roads
And so, it is very confusing. It took us a long time to find those silly roads. So,
Oh, down West
Way down.
Westner, one has a P.O. box, and then the other 3 are down on Mountain Spring, you know. Even the recycling, they have to drag the recycling down to the
Mailboxes, you can see what number before you go off the road.
Right. It's very confusing. Would you like to unconfuse it? I'm gonna take the heat on this one, because I'm gonna send out the letters with my name on it, so I don't care. But township is the one with the signs addresses.
I honestly don't. I don't know. I'm looking at it on the map, but we're talking.
Right. The gentleman that called thought I was you, so. He thought, he knew that I would get elected.
So where's Maidencreek?
How long is Critter Road
Actually,
existing?
in West Westner. Next to Misers,
Yeah, right,
Ah.
from my,
the alleyway. You know, is this,
alley that goes around.
is this a person that's like new?
No.
Right, that's, yeah. I guess, more Amazon deliveries.
And as people age, they depend on that more.
I do look at them.
Your earlier caught my eye, I'm sorry.
I think I wanna table it, just, I need to look at it a little bit more.
Drive it.
Yeah, I mean, I know where it is, cause I have a friend that lives up there on the other end, but.
So we'll table that till,
You know who has?
it's
All the way
like
down.
all the way at the end.
Yeah.
All the way down.
It's tough, cause it's maintained by the residents up there. So like this winter, you know, one of them's out there opening it up so that everybody can go out and, I don't know, I gotta think about this a little bit. Alright, we'll table it if you guys don't mind.
I agree.
Alright, financial matters, authorization, I need authorization to remove Dave Frank and Ed Dongerschmidt on all township bank accounts and authorize the account signers to execute all required paperwork. Do I have a motion to authorize that?
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills and accept the treasurer's report as is presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, public comment on non-agenda items. You got anything on the first one? What are you doing here today?
No, I'm just here, Eric gonna be in your body.
It's like the Tom Sawyer thing, I lied to it.
Thanks for coming. Alright, second row.
The question, just, you know, I know Heidi asked about it earlier about the change in, you know, the town, the warehousing thing. If there was something, I mean, obviously it's zoned a certain way, it was expected a certain way, there's revenue coming in a certain way. Could you just explain that process, like if it were to get sold and change the use?
Like the federal government?
Yeah, or, I mean, anybody, actually.
We
but-
just had the federal government discussion, up in Greenwich, and basically the federal government, there's case law out there, they can do whatever they wanna do with whatever property they decide. So there would be nothing that we could do to stop them from doing the same thing. But as for general change of use, there would have to be.
But not a public entity.
Yeah.
They would have to come in and probably go through the conditional use process if they're gonna change it to a use that's not already covered by the decision we rendered. Right, but most zoning codes say that government entities don't have to comply with the zoning codes for use reasons. Safety reasons they still do, but not for use reasons.
Alright, anybody else have it? Third? Fourth? Last round?
Yeah, just to say something on that form, if I'm not mistaken, the federal government also doesn't pay any taxes if they purchase the property too, correct? Alright. Well, maybe now I'm glad there is a warehouse. And I'm kidding, believe me.
Could be a building there. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a comment. So I want to say that I'm encouraged to see that there's the interest in environmental protection for the township and that there's people interested in pursuing that. For the record, I do have a master's in environmental engineering, and I share the concern with, of some areas specifically, and one is the Willow Creek. As some of you may or may not know, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission has reviewed it a number of times. The Willow Creek is about, they say, almost 15 kilometers long. It's located in sub-basin 3B in Berks County. They've designated Section 4 of the Willow Creek as a Class A wild brook trout stream with a population biomass exceeding 58 kilograms per hectare. And they said that's very exceptional. It's currently designated a cold water fishes stream, and they also, in their report, said that specifically in evaluation proposals for residential and commercial development in this drainage basin, the Department of Environmental Protection should require stormwater management techniques that will minimize or prevent water temperature increases to the Willow Creek due to runoff. One in particular recommendation is that if they have not done so already, they are recommending that Ontawani and Maidencreek Townships should consider implementing zoning ordinances that will contribute to the protection of Willow Creek and its exceptional Class A wild brook trout population from water quality degradation, physical habitat degradation, which includes erosion, sedimentation, and stormwater damage, diminished flow, and increases in water temperature. So they're advocating that protection for all of those areas of the stream. There are certain sections of the Willow Creek right now that I can attest to that have had severe erosion, sedimentation, and a change in the course of the stream, which does not support the health of the stream or the aquatic life that reside within the stream. And of course, they also recommend that should consider stream bank trees and shrub planting and unshaded segments. For those that also may not be aware, this township is subject to a DEP standard regulation that governs the anti-degradation of streams, and that would be 25 Code 93.4A. It's also referenced in the township stormwater ordinance. Again, for those who may not be aware of that it requires that streams be maintained, and that specifically notices that inadequate planning and management of stormwater runoff, which could result from land development or other things, can also harm surface water by changing the natural hydrologic patterns, accelerating stream flows, which increase scour, erosion of stream beds and stream banks, thereby elevating sedimentation, which I can attest to has occurred in this township with the Willow Creek specifically. Also, as part of the statement of findings, that there's also destroying of aquatic habitat and elevating aquatic pollutant concentrations and loading such as sediment, nutrients, heavy metals, and pathogens. Groundwater resources are also impacted through this. Loss of recharge. Another finding is that the comprehensive stormwater management program, including the minimization of impacts of development, redevelopment, and activities causing accelerated erosion, is fundamental to the public health, safety, welfare, and the protection of the people of the municipalities and all the people of the Commonwealth, their resources, and the environment itself. Another important segment of the township's own stormwater ordinance is that through project design, impacts from stormwater runoff can be minimized to maintain the natural hydrologic regime and sustain high water quality, groundwater recharge, stream base flow, and aquatic ecosystems. The most cost-effective and environmentally advantageous way to manage stormwater runoff is through non-structural project design, minimizing impervious surfaces and sprawl, and avoiding sensitive areas, and designing topography and soils to maintain the natural hydrologic regime. So I'm asking the township to follow some of its own regulations, own ordinances, the DEP's guidance, and support the repair of certain sections of the Willow Creek specifically. And also, another section of the Willow Creek is right there at West Walnut Tree Bridge, where, as you know, there's severe erosion, and it has been occurring for a number of years. And not only has it degraded the stream, but it's also causing potentially structural damage to the road and to the West Walnut Tree Bridge.
Thank you for coming.
So I specifically asked the township to follow through on this.
Thank you for coming. All right, anybody else in the room? Okay, so motion to adjourn.